watch this?
How?
Ew,
How do you watch this? Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hi, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we recommend a movie in the genre we love, but they don't. My name is Demi, and I love horror.
My name is Megan, and I love romance.
And this week I had Megan watch the movie Amity. Oh my God.
Yep, you got it, girl.
Amityville. I don't even know how to say this word. Amityville Horror.
Amityville.
Oh my God.
You got it.
I don't think I ever said it out loud until this point.
I know, it's okay.
How did I say it in the episode last time?
I think
Amityville?
normal. You have like a tongue tie right now.
I think I'm having a seizure.
Dude, this is like when Travis first ever tried to say the word amiable and he couldn't get it out of his mouth. And I was dying laughing. This poor man. I was like roasting him.
Some words just...
No. Some words are
can't
hard.
pronounce.
And the AM, I guess, is a toughie.
Yeah.
Amityville
So I'm not even
Horror.
going to try and say it again.
Which,
This
by the way,
movie-
I searched for this on the smart TV. The amount, Travis and I were sitting next to each other, the amount of Amityville movies is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why I was like, 2005 one.
Thank God you picked the year because I wouldn't have done the right one. There's so many.
I didn't realize how many there were because when I looked it up, the one I wanted was the first one that came up. And I was like, oh, cool. And then later on, I was like, oh, there's like 1,500 of these movies.
Yeah,
My bad.
It's crazy town. So yeah, I'm glad that you told me which one it was. And I can go into it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to start talking about this fucking movie.
All right. So this movie, 2005, rated R, an hour and 30 minutes. It's supernatural horror. And I feel like basically we're very close. Demi and I were just talking. We're very close to episode 100. At some point, I want to do percentages of how many of these movies are supernatural horror because it is overwhelming. The past are like 5 supernatural horrors. So,
I mean, you think about it, horror, a lot
yeah,
of it's going to be
a
this
lot
type
of
of
it's
stuff, right? Demons,
supernatural, yeah.
ghosties.
yeah,
So.
pretty high on the list.
Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been diverse. I promise the next
It's
one, it's
okay.
my first choice. I will make it
Yeah.
different.
I know.
So.
Whew, and I got to come up with a really good one after that because we're approaching 100. So
It's got to be
think of
good.
something.
Make it count.
We'll have to come up with something. Director Andrew Douglas. Okay. Ta-da. Ta-da. All right. So, the Amityville Horror. I was a little familiar with this story because I've listened to podcasts about Amityville Horror and like the Amityville House and all that kind of stuff. And Demi and I, before we even came on, we both have very similar ideas of what we really believe. We'll delve more into it in the episode. But basically, I kind of had forgotten most of the story as it happened. And I'm watching it, and first thought, I was like, God, once again, Native Americans being dragged into the horror movies.
Yes.
Against, like, why?
Against their will.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that was like a thing that they rumored. There was a rumor that it was, what was it specifically? It was like Native Americans housed like mentally ill people on the ground, like really something so stupid. And it was obviously false because they verified it with the group of Native Americans that were like in that area. But yeah, it was obviously not true. Like,
Yeah. It's like, oh, cool.
not a
Just
thing, please.
once again, using a minority group to
Yeah, not
seem spookier.
every stupid fucking supernatural
Yeah.
thing is related to a fucking
Yeah.
Native
Which-
American.
The only pro-ish in this was that it didn't end up being like the Native Americans' fault for the haunting, which is better than whatever the frick Pet Cemetery, which blamed the burial ground
Right.
of Native Americans. At least this one, they were like,
Well,
I don't know,
yeah.
victims. No, that's not better. That's not better. Okay.
I don't fucking know.
No.
But I mean, it will not be the last time we discuss this fucking
Yeah.
topic in horror movies because they just
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, and there's another trope in here that I can't wait to talk about. It was my most dreaded. I just knew it was going to happen the minute I saw.
Mhm.
Whatever, we'll get there. So Demi had pre-warned me that there was going to be an epilepsy warning, essentially.
Girl.
Andrew, it was horrible.
Oh my
I was like
God.
squinting. It was hard to watch.
It like hurt me to watch
Yes.
this beginning part.
It
And
was,
I know I made a joke last time of like, because of the year it was made, it was probably gonna have that type
Yeah.
of dumb flashingness.
yeah,
I didn't realize it was gonna happen that soon and that intensely.
really bad.
It
really
was like,
bad.
dude,
My God.
it
Yeah,
was so bad.
And it was just like, it was in like a sepia tone kind of coloring. So it was just like
Yeah.
very bright, dark, bright, dark.
Mhm.
Oh my God. So what we're seeing is a flashback from, I think, 74. And it
Mhm.
was the family that lived in this house. There was a young man named Ronnie, I believe the oldest brother in the family, and he is at 3:15 a.m. going around and killing all of the family members, ending in the attic with the youngest sister, Jody. And then we see a bunch of clips of like police and whatever. I was curious, did they take any real footage or was this all recreated for the movie? Do you know?
That is a good question. I did not see anything about that, so I doubt it's real footage.
Okay.
It's probably just recreated.
Yeah.
Especially the little girl because she was not that young.
Okay.
There was this movie is more based on the novel that was based on kind of what happened. But they changed things up, obviously names and stuff. And the youngest sister, I think, was like 13.
Okay.
She wasn't like very young.
Yeah, they made her out to be like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old.
Yeah,
girl,
yeah.
like a little girl. So basically, we learn that this Ronnie character had heard voices in the house that told him to kill everyone in the family, and so he did. And then it's a year later, and we see Ryan Reynolds. And I'm going to spoil it right now. I already know this is the common thread between our movies. The minute I saw his name, I was like, here we go. It's Travis. Asked if this was supposed to be a comedy because Ryan Reynolds only does comedies. But this was early Ryan Reynolds' career. He's just getting started.
Right.
So it makes sense that he was in something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our girl from the Triangle. Recognized her pretty quickly.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I thought it was Lindsay Lohan, and I was like, wait, what? and then I got a real glimpse of her face, and I was like, oh, her. And so
we also have Chloe Grace.
Yeah.
First, this was her debut movie. So
No,
before Kick-Ass, yeah. I thought Kick-Ass was her first, but
okay, very cool. So basically, the story is that Kathy and George are married. Kathy's first husband had died, and she had 3 kids with him: Billy, Michael, and Chelsea. So they are looking. The mom and the stepdad are both looking for new houses, and they find this house that's super affordable, super cheap, and still out of their price range a little bit, but basically Kathy begs and begs and begs, and George is just like, well, we're gonna be house poor, but if this is what makes you happy, let's do it.
Do you want to guess how much the house cost?
In 70?
74.
What was an average house in 74? Okay, I'm gonna go too low, probably.
Okay. I guess, like, consider you are living in 1974 and you see this house and you're like, this is a steal. Why is this price so low? What would you think a low price at that time would be?
In my mind, a normal house in 74 would be like 100. Do you think that's ridiculous? Is that too low?
No.
Okay. Would it be 35?
No. It was actually $80,000.
Okay, see, I told you I was going to go too low. I was going to go too low.
But, I mean, if you think about it now, I would say, like, 80,000 is really, really low. But thinking back to, like, 74, I'm like, I feel like 80,000 is still a little high, like, for a house that has gone through what it went through.
Yeah.
I was expecting, like you said, like, maybe like 50.
In order for it to be... Okay, wait. Hold on. I just Googled it.
Yeah.
The average house price in the U.S. in 74 was $38,000.
What? Because I was going to pull up the inflation calendar. Because that's why I thought 80 was, like, not as low as I thought it was going to be.
No, what's What's 80,000 in today's dollars?
So today's dollars, that house would have been $542,000.
Okay.
Which for a
Yeah.
house without a brutal murder,
Yeah.
okay.
But
it was kind of busted looking. But
Yeah.
location, Long Island, I'm like, okay.
Big size on a lake. You have to remember, on a lake, usually
Right.
that's going to bring you up to close to $1 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the cheaper side, but not shockingly cheap.
Yeah, I would have pictured like a little lower, a little bit, but
for what happened here, I would need it to be way lower.
Yeah. How many people died? 5? 1, 2.
Yeah, for the 3 kids and the 2 parents, for 5 murders, it would have to be significant. It would have to be like in today's dollars, like $100,000 for me to consider it.
Yeah, and there was like mold, obvious mold in like some of the areas. I don't know why she was pushing so hard. I'm like, girly, like
I get that it's like a decent house and she wanted something, but for me, like, no, especially they like right afterwards found out what happened in the house. Like, because he was like, what's the catch? What's the catch?
Yeah.
And yeah, a whole family was murdered. I'm sorry. I just think that at this point, if a whole family gets murdered in a house, we should just burn it down. Because it's just
it's too much negative energy. It's like plantation homes, you know. I'm like, why would you want to like live somewhere like that? Like, there's so much
and
so many awful things that happen there. It's like, no, I don't want that.
And I love old architecture. I love like the character that comes with them. It doesn't matter. I would choose a new home over hauntings aside.
Yeah.
Just knowing, like, could you imagine being in a room and knowing that a gruesome crime happened in that room? I would be so icked out. I couldn't do it.
No, like a shooting. Like if someone died in their bed, it's like, all right, whatever. But
like, yes.
Murdered?
Yeah.
In this spot? No.
Yeah. I was talking to Travis about it. I was like, could you do it? He's like, well, it would depend on the way the deaths happen. I was like this exact scenario, could you do it?
Right.
He's like, it's weird. It's weird. And I was like,
it's too weird.
No, it doesn't matter if it's the best house I've ever seen in my whole life. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, especially for this price. Not low enough.
No. Not if I'm about to enter house poor levels.
They're going to be struggling for what? You guys are living in a house that needs a lot of work still.
Yes. Yeah. So they start day 1, like their move-in day. There's all this cute, like, old school camera footage. They're, like, making it seem like it's actually the 70s with the way they're filming it.
Yeah.
Then it's that night. And what's interesting with this is, like, they only give us, like, 3 times where it's, like, day 1, and then you get day 15, and then you get day 28. So they don't really... I was like, I thought it was going to be, like, day 1, day 2, day 8.
They really fucking skipped. They're like, fuck it.
Yeah, let's just do this 3 times. We don't need that much. So... that night, there's a draft in the house, and there's like a clock stuck on 3:15, which is when those murders happened. There's a clock that seems to be making noises, even though it's not plugged in. There's strange sounds in the house. Then there's a sex scene, because of course there is. And
nice.
In the middle of the sex scene, George, the stepdad, sees a little girl hanging behind his wife, and I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, turn off.
No, yeah, instant mood ender. We're done here. So he's like not feeling well. He's like gets sick and all that stuff. Like, you know, not surprising.
Right.
Later on, don't know what day this is. Could be day 2, could be day 14. Again, they have not clarified that at all. The little girl, Chelsea, sees someone named Jody in her closet, which is the girl from the beginning. And then while the mom is out grocery shopping, Chelsea goes into the boathouse, into the boat with a red balloon, because Jody wanted to see the boat. And, like, there's other, like, strange things that are happening. You know, the kids are seeing, like, blood come out of the faucet, whatever. Travis hid my face when Ryan Reynolds' 8-pack came on screen. He was trying to, I know, I was like, get that hand out of here.
That scene, I was like.
I know. I'm not going to lie, it did increase my rating.
It went on for, I don't want to say too long, but it was a whole event. Like, it was the pants too low.
Yup. And then
Walking
they got soaking wet.
in the water,
Mhm.
out the water,
Yup.
walking through the house. I was like, oh my God.
I know. Hello.
Woo. I will
Mhm.
say, this is peak Ryan Reynolds. This look
Yeah.
he's got with the hair, the
Oh.
beard, like he will never reach that.
No, it was best
That
of the
was
best.
his
Yeah.
best era.
I
So
agree.
R.I.P.
I mean, he's still alive, but R.I.P. to the era, yes.
Yeah, but like he sucks too. So
I mean,
R.I.P. in general.
Yeah, I know. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
Could have had it all. Okay, so what was I? Yeah, so he basically goes into the boathouse and like what was it? Oh, okay, sorry. My notes are not good.
Distracted by.
Yeah, I was a little bit blown away. So then it's like a different night, and Ryan Reynolds, aka George, wakes up in the middle of the night and he's hearing the dog barking at the boathouse, and he like runs out to the boathouse, jumps into the water thinking that Chelsea's under the water, but it was all just like he was like seeing things. He's seeing weird things. The little girl was actually sleeping in her bed. She was totally fine. He's starting to lose it. He really is. He's having like these dreams that he's shooting himself in the kid's bedroom. Just like really not well. Then the mom starts seeing things like a little bit. So Kathy sees catch 'em and kill 'em on the fridge in little alphabet letters. And then she thinks she's just seeing things. They go out on a date night. And the babysitter comes over. Dude, I was like,
what the fuck?
What? This whole scene with the babysitter felt like a fever dream.
It really was insane. I was like, what am I watching right now?
Honestly,
what is this scene?
I felt like I needed to call someone and report this movie because I was like, this is wrong on so many levels. First of all, she comes in and it's like her whole freaking torso is on display. She's wearing this crop top and low-rise jeans, which you're not about to be playing with children when you're wearing that. Like, that is for a night out on the town.
And the parents don't double take anything. I would have been like, question? What? Hello?
What are you wearing? Why are you wearing that?
If any babysitter comes in like that, they're either sneaking out to hang out or they're inviting someone over. No one's dressing like that for kiddos.
For
like,
underage kid? Like, yeah. No.
That was I'm like, I know it's the 70s, but like,
I know it is.
Please, there y'all had to have had some sort of, even just like a little like an okay.
No, they just like kind of joke about, like the dad kind of like jokes with the younger son, the 12-year-old Billy, and was like, "You sure you don't want a babysitter now?" Which is like, okay,
icky,
so
icky.
gross.
Yeah.
She gets high in the bathroom, and then she asks the kid, the 12-year-old, if he Frenches. And I was like, I swear to God.
Dude, it was so weird. It was
that.
like, oh my God. It was awful. I don't know. Yeah. I can't even explain that whole scene. I was like, what the fuck was the point of this at all?
No. I would have deleted it if there weren't worse things that happened in this movie.
My God.
Yeah. So then she decides, for fun, to tell Billy what happened to the previous family, who she also babysat for.
Yeah.
And the younger brother hears it, and it's like, you absolute psychopath. Why would you ever do that?
Yeah.
And then she ends up getting locked in the closet by the spirits. They get really upset with her. It's like gross, whatever happens, she basically loses it. The parents come home. By the way, when they're out of the house, all of a sudden George is like feeling much more himself and much more clear-headed and more positive. And then they get back, they call an ambulance, and George is losing it at the kids. He's screaming at them because he's thinking they trapped her in the closet and then she ended up hurting herself and kind of losing her mind a little bit, which, yeah, I can understand why that would be a concern. But he is also treating them very poorly. He is not being the kind of like kind, understanding person that he has seemed to be up to this point.
Yeah.
So there's a dog named Harry, and I knew the minute I saw this dog, like, so something gonna happen to this freaking dog. And so this is in my note. I wrote, this dog better not die, because I'm just seeing this dog sleep. And I was like, this beautiful, beautiful boy.
I know, such a cute dog.
So beautiful. So nothing happens with the dog at this point in time. It's just I had that written down in my notes. George is seeing stuff. His eyes are getting more and more bloodshot. He starts kind of like drowning in the bathtub. Like all these demon arms are grabbing him and pulling him under, and he hits his head. So they go to the hospital and get him checked out. He's kind of fine. He's actually feeling totally better once he's in the hospital. He gets a number for a psychiatrist. And of course, I guess because it's 74, they're just like, oh, I don't need this. What are you saying? I'm crazy, doc? Whatever.
Right.
Bro, with everything you're seeing, why wouldn't you want to talk to somebody?
Right. It's like all this stuff is happening to you, and you're not going to potentially talk to someone about it?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Stupid.
whatever, I guess.
Stupid. So when they get home, the parents, they had left the kids alone with the older brother, the 12-year-old, and the little girl, Chelsea, decided to climb onto the roof, which is my most memorable scene because, bro. So she's on the roof, and it's like a whole thriller scene where you're like, are they going to catch her in time? Whatever.
Yeah.
They end up just narrowly saving her life, and it turns out that the ghost, Jody, wanted to be with her forever and to always play together and to have the little girl see her dad again, and which means she would die. But she's a little girl, so I guess she doesn't.
She doesn't understand that.
Then George is like going off, and he's like, what's the matter with you people? He ends up moving into the basement, just like Ronnie did. And he's so angry over things that are happening. To punish Billy, he makes Billy hold wood while he uses an axe to cut the wood, which was honestly the worst sort of torture. And I would have immediately been like, divorce. Like, you've been bad up until this point. But at this point in time, I would have been like, we're done. No.
Yeah, I don't know how the mom really wasn't doing much. Like, listen, I know what he looks like, but sorry.
Yeah.
Buddy, like, you're not going to be treating my kid like that.
No,
you know?
I'm checking you into the psychiatric hospital. If your personality changed that much, where you went from being the loving, sweet man I knew to now you're making my son hold stuff while nearly killing him, no, we're not doing that. Either you're getting severe mental health or we're done. I can't get behind it. Anyway. Also, the bloodshot eyes were definitely contacts. At the same exact time, Travis and I noticed, because Ryan Reynolds' eyes shift and you see like this circle in the bloodshot. And we were like, hey.
Yeah, so he had contacts for that. And then there were times where his eyes looked more black.
Yes, I noticed that.
And so they used like contacts for that, which I was like, that's kind of cool. You can kind of see him looking more demonic-y, but that's probably the only positive I can give.
Right. So he grabs an axe and he hears the dog barking. He sees a demon in the boat shed and he kills the demon, and it's the dog. And I wrote, Demi, you bitch.
Surprise.
That's my deleted scene, obviously. Foul, disgusting. Why does the dog always have to die? There was no reason for it. Whatever.
Yeah.
So Kathy wants to leave the house, obviously. She ends up inviting a priest to the house, which is a little late because the dog's already dead. Like, I would have done that a while ago.
I absolutely would have done that a while ago. Day 15.
Yeah. She finds out that the doll her daughter keeps holding was actually buried with the little girl, which is, like, honestly, that would make me feel so sick. I would not continue to stay in that house. I would not continue to stay in that house if my daughter was holding a formerly buried stuffed animal.
Yeah.
So the priest blesses the house and like the holy water sizzling, and then a bunch of bugs come, and he just gets really scared and runs away. And it's like, what kind of priest are you? Like, that...
Yeah. Supposedly there was a priest that was contacted by the real Lutz family that lived there. And he has conflicting stories.
Yeah.
There's things that said that he never went into the house, that it was just like a phone call thing.
Okay.
And then another time where he said he did go into the house and was blessing it and then heard a voice that said, get out. and he left. Conflicting
Okay.
stories, but there was a priest and something supposedly similar happened to him.
Well, I'm not on board with him leaving them, but and then
Yeah.
not contacting again or being like, "Hey, just get out."
Right,
It's
just
really
completely
bad.
piecing out is
Right.
crazy.
So, George is getting worse. He sees that TV program from the beginning that we saw Ronnie watching, and he's still hearing the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at day 28, and she goes to the library and finds out that the former family, the Defoes, they 28 days after moving into the house, he like killed the family. And I was like, girl, if it's the 28th day, and I found out, well, the last guy was doing the same shit your husband's doing, and on the 28th day he murdered the family, the first time I would have closed everything and ran. But no, she's gonna keep doing her research. She's out all day doing research, this lady. So she learns that there was a Reverend Ketchum, if you catch him and kill him. So a Reverend Ketchum who lived there and tortured Native Americans. And George actually ends up at the same time, we're like splicing scenes, and George finds the torture chamber that he used. She goes over to the priest and confronts him, and he was like, yeah, starts crying, and he's like, yeah, Ronnie came to me like a couple weeks before the murders and told me he was seeing things, and I dismissed it. What kind of priest? What do you mean you dismissed it?
This man was like the true villain here.
He was. And then he's like crying and ashamed, and then he's like, you have to get out of the house. So then she calls George, and she's like, get the kids out of the house, and he cuts the landline. She gets back, and George is in the boathouse. She falls into the water and her hair gets caught in the motor. And I actually thought he was gonna kill her at this point. But I know. Her face is changing back and forth between demon face and her face, and he ends up getting like releasing her, and she's losing it at him. Chelsea's in the basement. In the basement, they find all these coffins with everyone's names on it. It's got Kathy, Michael, Billy, and Chelsea's names on it. Which, if I saw that, dude.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of points before this would have been it, but yeah, that would have really been all right. Time to go.
Yeah. So then George shows up. He's got a shotgun. The house is going against them and locking everyone in. They're trying to get out. They can't get out. There's a lot of back and forth. Like people are catching up to other people and they're fighting. And Billy, the 12-year-old, is kind of beating up the stepdad a little bit. To get away from him, they all climb onto the roof in the rain. George ends up falling off the roof, but he grabs an axe because he's next level, obviously possessed, since he can just get back up again. Kathy girl bosses her way to knocking him out, tying him up, bringing him to the boat, and Billy's like, let's just leave him behind. And she's like, no, you don't understand. We need to just get him away from the house. And then they get on the boat and they boat away from the house, and then he wakes up and he's like, don't look at the house. Don't even look at it. Just keep going. And so he's clearly back to himself, and they're getting GTFO out of that place. And that's the movie.
He's lucky.
Couldn't be me.
I wasn't the wife, because I would have.
That's what I was thinking. I was
shot
like,
him.
So I have several thoughts. Thought number one: if I was that actual guy, like the Lutz guy who was like the real life person, if I saw this portrayal of myself, I would be livid. I'd be like, wow, that's how I'm being remembered in this story, is that I tried to murder my family? Fucking rude. Really rude. Second of all, you can't come back from that. I don't care how wonderful of a person he is.
I would be horrified.
Yeah, you cannot. I'm sorry. You've done too much bad, and like, even if you apologize, I'm never gonna be able to look at you the same. If you held a gun to my child's face, he held a gun in Billy's face. Yeah. No, I will never be. That will be in my nightmares. I'm sorry. Like, all the love I had for you is for naught.
Yeah. Like I said, I would have killed him. Yeah. If it was that close where he was aiming a gun or about to swing at my kid, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I would not trust myself to knock out this grown man who is very fit and could probably take me out easily.
At least shoot him in the feet.
Yeah, I would have.
The hands?
Anything. Beautiful stomach.
Yeah. No, you can't do the stomach, Debbie. Those abs have to live on. Come on.
But yeah, I would have been gnarly. So
no, I can't.
Sorry, dude.
No.
crazy that they managed to get him out and be fine. Because
And like, I just would love an epilogue showing him apologizing and the kids getting therapy. Because how does Billy move on? How does Billy move on? You can't.
Not only did they have to deal with a father who died,
right?
Their stepdad tried to kill them.
Right. Like, I don't care if he was possessed. I don't care. I would trust no man after this. In the world. No. I'm sorry. I'm single for life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. But yeah, that's the movie. So
that's the movie.
The story, obviously, this is more based on the book that was written, and the book is like a loose adaptation on like what happened, and everyone has their own theories, but the thing that definitely happened was the murders. That was like legit.
First ones.
Yeah, the first murders. So Ronald DeFeo murdered 6 family members November 13, 1974. He was sentenced.
How many?
6.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 5. Okay.
Yeah, he killed 6, and he was sentenced to 6 concurrent 25 to life sentences. He did say he pleaded guilty, and he did say he was hearing voices. So a little
yeah, I'm sure. You know. I'm sure he was having a psychiatric breakdown.
Yeah, obviously. The Lutz family moved to the house 1975. They moved out 28 days later. So basically, and they had a dog named Harry who survived. The dog did not die.
Thank God. See, this is why I knew the dog survived. Now I'm like, why did you kill the dog in the fucking movie? I don't care about poetic justice. Oh, is the 6th member the dog? Is that maybe what they were saying?
No, the
6 family members and the dog. Because Ronnie killed the dog, right? Or was that also just added into the movie for no reason?
So it was his parents, sister. Okay, so it was his parents, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers. Okay. So it was 6 family members, like people. So in the movie, it was 5. They only but the sisters were 18, 13, and then the brothers were 12 and 7.
So sad.
Yeah. Horrible situation. They were all in their beds, like when this happened. So basically, the Lutz were claiming that they smelled strange odors. There were like cold parts,
probably.
Yeah, mold in different rooms. They saw green slime oozing out of the walls. Apparently, it's like okay.
Yeah.
The garage door would open by itself. Then the pig-like creature.
Yes, that's the one that I remember from this.
Yeah.
The story.
Apparently, they saw this thing looking at them from a window. They saw, apparently, the wife was levitating out of her bed at one point.
Stop. Like, okay.
So, there's a lot of stuff here. And they did take a lie detector test, which they passed, but lie detector tests are not.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're good, if you know how to.
But also, like, maybe they actually, I mean, it would mess with my mind. I think I would believe that I was seeing things if I was in a house that 6 people were murdered in. I think that I would, like,
they definitely
convince myself I saw stuff.
Definitely could have felt like they experienced stuff. Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot. There's people that have bought the house since then. No one's had experiences.
Why would anyone want to live there, though?
I don't know. But the address has been changed to help with tourists trying to come, because they'll just come over and take photos in front of the house. People are living there. There's neighbors. So they did change the address number, but you can still find it if you really wanted to. But yeah, so that's like the details on the house. There is a documentary. There's a ton of documentaries, but there's one that's recommended called Amityville: An Origin Story on MGM Plus. So if you're really interested in watching a good documentary on this, that one's pretty good. Apparently, they interviewed people who knew the DeFeo family, the Lutz family, the kids, and all that stuff. So it really goes into details on all of that. So I wish I had time to watch it before this, but I'll definitely check it out, though.
I would watch that. I find that interesting. I find it fascinating. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, the concept is scary because you put all your money even like me today, if I bought a $500,000 plus house and all your money is into that house, and now you are seeing things are going wrong. You're like, I'm not gonna be able to sell this house quickly because it's haunted and people died here.
Right.
And, like, I would be very freaked out, and you feel kind of trapped in that situation. Your house poor, you have nowhere else to go. What are you gonna do? Yeah. That's rough. That's a scary concept. And then to have like your partner suddenly slowly losing their mind, you know?
Yeah, I think nowadays it would be easier to sell a house like that because there's a lot of fucking freaks in this world.
Yeah,
Who'd be like,
true.
oh yeah, I'd want a house that people were murdered in. But yeah, in the 70s,
no.
Yeah, you're like stuck. You're trapped. You have 3 kids, so I get it. I get the struggle of dealing with that, but I don't know. I would have figured something out. Live in a cheap hotel for yourself for like a little bit because
it doesn't matter. I couldn't do it. No, not if all that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
So main character, I said smash because obviously.
Yeah,
come on. Main villain, I'm going with it being the creepy Reverend Ketchum, and I'm saying pass because duh.
The main villain was definitely Ryan Reynolds.
Well. If it's like, okay, fine. If it's Ryan Reynolds possessed when he's possessed, I'm saying no because he's really mean when he's possessed. When he's possessed, he's yelling at the kids. He's holding a gun to their... Damn it, you would? Possess Ryan Reynolds, you would? Girl. No.
I don't know.
No, the minute...
Just like once. Just once.
Just the one time.
Once, yeah.
He like kills you right afterwards.
It'll be worth it. Worth it.
Okay, for me, not possess Ryan Reynolds, smash. Possess Ryan Reynolds, pass. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in the house. Like maybe he could.
Could have been seduced. I don't know.
I mean, maybe if he really apologized, but survival chance. I'm going with a 4.
Okay.
I think I'm leaning towards not surviving. However, like just because of the fact that you would feel trapped in that situation.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I would hit a breaking point and I would do whatever I had to do. She has a mom. We know from the phone call. I would go and live with my mom for a little while. I don't care.
Right.
I would figure out something. I would not want to be there. Don't recommend to a non-horror fan. This is not for non-horror fans at all. What did you review it? Rate it. I might have rated it higher than you.
You probably will. I thought this movie was fucking garbage.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I thought Ryan Reynolds was such a bad actor in this movie. Like he was so bad that I was just like laughing at him. I'm like, this is why he sticks to comedy because he cannot do serious roles.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna give it a 1.
Wow. Okay.
I just didn't think it was good, and towards the end it just got so stupid when he was like in the basement and the one room had just a bunch of like spirits. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I'm like, this is so fucking awful.
Yeah. So no, it was dumb. It was dumb. Yeah. I gave it a 3.
Wow.
So I know.
That's too high, girl.
I know. Well, I told you it got bonus points for the ab show.
Oh my God.
Here's why it rated a little higher for me.
Okay.
Number 1, I found the concept actually scary. I don't know that the movie really got me like my heart beating out my chest.
Yeah.
But
there were some scenes where I was like, oh, it's a little creepy.
Definitely scary. I can empathize with the concept. I find that to be a scary concept. I think Ryan Reynolds is hot. He's in his heyday. He's attractive. She's attractive. Okay. Yeah. It's what else? What else? There's something else, right? There had to be something else. Oh no, there is. It's that no humans died, so at least it wasn't like the no
5 people died at the start of the movie.
But by the end, the main family wasn't dead.
No, you cannot justify
this. I mean,
girl, what is this?
Sorry,
3.
I would not rewatch it at all.
You need to pull up other 3 movies. What are other movies you wrote at 3?
All right.
Let me hear it.
I will. Because maybe I'll rethink it. Okay. My other 3s are Black Swan.
Black Swan's definitely better than this movie.
The Boy.
The Boy kind of sucked, but
Yeah. The Thing.
what? Oh no, you cannot rate this.
Fine, I will give it a 2. I will give it a 2.
I'll allow it 2.
And I will say that one whole point is for his abs.
That's what, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably why I got a 3 in general, but I'll give it down to a 2.
This is the most I've argued with.
Yeah, I know, with the review. Okay, hold on. Yeah, you've never like asked me to go lower on a review. All right,
No.
2 movies are The Exorcist. This is actually, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Final Destination, Disturbing Behavior.
Okay, damn, Disturbing Behavior got too high too.
I know.
That was bad.
But that was early days. That was episode 2.
Early days, yeah.
And I was less scared by it.
Yeah, you had no idea what you were gonna get, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the movie. Do you have any more facts for me?
The only other fact, I was surprised that there weren't a lot of things for this movie. The only other thing was that Ryan Reynolds apparently chose not to get close to the children because he wanted that distance so that it was easier for him to be verbally and abusive to them. Mm-hmm. But I also think that Ryan Reynolds fucking sucks. He probably just didn't want to deal with kids. So.
Like, probably.
But yeah, that's like it.
I mean, because you look at that and then you look at the way what's-his-face Skarsgård dealt with the kids and it. Like, you could have made it less traumatizing for them to get screamed at by you.
Yeah, I feel like them being comfortable with you would make more sense because then they know, like, okay, this is acting. You know, you don't want to actually be fucking scared.
But he wanted to make it easier for himself.
Yeah, because he's a shitty actor. He was so bad.
I know. Yeah.
I think the kid actors were better.
Oh, yeah.
That's wild.
Billy was great. Billy did a good job.
Chloe did a good job. The other little nameless
Michael. His name was Michael.
The dweeby one?
Yeah, little dorky kid. He had such big teeth. He really did. Some choppas. Sorry, kid.
Anyway, sorry, kiddo.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say about this fucking movie.
All right. Well, I already gave away the common thread, but my movie...
did you?
That's right. I could be wrong. You're right. You did not confirm it. I feel like the common thread is Ryan Reynolds because of the movie that I picked. So the movie I picked for Demi is definitely Maybe with Ryan Reynolds. And
can't wait to watch another one with him.
Another one of your favorite actors. This is 3 years later. It's in 2008. So I think he's moved past the horror probably at this point in time. And the movie tells the story of this man who's going through a divorce and he's spending the weekend with his daughter and trying to help her understand what's going on. And so he kind of starts telling her these stories. It's almost like a How I Met Your Mother style where he talks about his past romantic relationships and she keeps trying to figure out which of the romantic relationships is her mom. And he ends up, through telling these stories, remembers this lost love he had before his current to-be ex-wife. And yeah, that's all I'll give away for now.
Okay. All right. We'll
yeah, hopefully it's a little bit more feel good. I need a little feel good.
The concept sounds cute. So
yeah.
I look forward to watching it, even though it's Ryan. And I did this to myself. I was like trying to think of a thread and I was like,
you did do this to yourself. You're right. Yeah.
That's our episode. So thank you for listening to How Do You Watch This? You can find us on where can we find this movie? Speaking of
where to find. Oh my gosh, I am the worst. I don't think you can watch it anywhere. You can rent it. That's it. It's not available for free anywhere. So good luck.
Boo.
Sorry.
All right. Do whatever you gotta do then.
Oh, it's a long one too, 1 hour 52 minutes.
Oh, how long was this one?
It was short. It was like 1 hour 30.
Not short enough. Anyway.
And I had to watch ads because it was on the Roku channel.
Too. Yeah. And the ads were so much louder than the movie.
The ads were so loud, dude. Oh my God. I was getting blown out my chair.
I had to keep it freaking low with the subtitles. I'm like, I guess I'm not listening to this movie.
You could have just muted it during the commercials. I just let it be loud.
No, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you can find us on Instagram, How Do You Watch This, and TikTok at How Do You Watch, or email us at howdoyouwatchthis@gmail.com. If you like the show, you can support us by giving us a review or recommending to a friend.
Thanks.
See you next time.